I am here today to give you a webinar on what is business development and sales. So,
Hello,
I know many
Shruti.
of you. Yeah,
Just let me introduce a little bit about you and then we will start. So, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of Gene Cube, I would like to welcome you to all our participants joining us today. I am Mika Upadhyay, and it's my pleasure to be your host for this insightful session. In the startup world, growth is often measured by customer acquired, revenue generated, and market expanded. But behind every successful startup lies a powerful combination of two critical functions: business development and sales. So, while both contribute to growth, they serve different purpose. One focus on creating opportunity, building a strategic relationship, and unlocking new avenues for expansion. The other transform those opportunity into customer revenue and measurable business results. So for founder and startup teams, understanding this distinction is not just important, it's essential for building a scalable and sustainable business. So today's session, understanding business development versus sale, will help us explore how these functions differ, where they overlap, and how startup can effectively leverage both to accelerate growth. To guide us through on this topic, we are delighted to welcome us Ms. Shruti Tamrakar, startup AI and sales expert. With extensive experience in startup growth, sales strategy, business expansion, and technology driven solution, she has worked closely with business to help them identify opportunity, build meaningful partnership, strengthen customers' acquisition efforts, and achieve sustainable growth. Her practical insight and real world experience make her unquickly positioned to help us understand how startup can create a strong growth engine by aligning business development and sales effectively. So we are truly excited to learn from her expertise and gain valuable takeaways that you can be applied directly to your startups and entrepreneurial journey. So without further ado, I request Mr. Tamrika, please start the session.
yeah. Thank you so much. So, to start with this webinar and session, just wanted to ask you all have you all startups and business are having sort of business and sales team and marketing team. But I bet you won't be having two teams named as business development and sales because these days people consider these two roles into one single role. Like they consider business development and sales as a one role. But in this webinar, I'll clear few things that it is not the same. First of all, today I'm going to show you exactly how they are different, how they connect, and how to build a system that actually moves from a lead from never heard of you to do I sign on your lead. So we start with this. First, we will be going through these seven topics here in this webinar. We start with the big picture framework, how BD, sales, and marketing actually connect. Then we go deep into each function. We look how they hands off each other, and then the common mistakes. I can promise you will recognize at least one or two common mistakes that every startup or every early stage business does while they are going in terms of sales and marketing, sales and business. So don't stress about everything. Writing down. We will be sharing it all, and I will be sharing the
I'm
next
so sorry,
slide.
Shruti, for
Yeah,
interrupting, but your voice is a bit low. Could you please speak a little louder?
sure. So going forward, going ahead, what we see is there are three departments: marketing, business development, and sales. Now, here's the most important thing that I want you to take from today. Marketing, business development, and sales. These are three departments that you hire in parallel. They are just like a chain. Marketing makes people aware about your role, your product, your services. Marketing makes people know that you exist. And then BD turns business development. BD turns that awareness into real opportunities, into real connections, conversations, relationships, and as well as warm interest of how do you exist, why do you exist as a product or as a services. Then, as a third step, sales comes. Sales takes those opportunities to convert into the real money. Sales takes those connections to convert into the real money. And this sequence is like a relay race. You come to marketing, then marketing generates the awareness, then it is transferred to the business development team. Then they create connection, they make your presence matter more, they make your presence noticed, and then it transfers to the sales team to get that money, to get that revenue. So, what does business development actually do? Let's get specific to business development because this is where usually the confusion starts creating. Business development or BD does four things. First is strategic partnerships. It finds a BD person or a BD team finds organizations that already have an ideal customer and build relationships with them. Not to sell, but only to open doors, only to create an awareness of what that product or service is. It is just for making the connections. Then second is market expansions. It identifies new opportunities, new territories, new geographies, and new verticals wherein according to the customer segment where your product or your service could fit in it. So you would be noticing what's not in this list if you are a product company or a product startup. So a product development is not in this list because it is the part of the technical team. These days, people misunderstand it and they consider it into the business development cycle that product development is also a part of this. But no, it is only product, it is only customer demands and ideations, and the product development goes into the technical side, technical aspect side. BD only identifies the market gap. The product team decides what to build, when to build, and how to build. Those are different conversations altogether. The third is the lead pipeline building. So BD has conversations with people who are not ready to buy. They are interested. They could be your prospect partners or prospect customers, but they are not ready to invest in you. So they are into your pipeline. They are your warm leads. The seed that BD plants today is gonna be harvested by the sales team in near 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. Then fourth comes the alliance development, which includes resellers, ecosystem partners, complementary tools, or peoples who could be doing your mouth publicity to them, people who are close in your networks, who amplify that. So these are the typical roles that BD usually does us. And the moment you ask your BD person to close the deals, then you have just created two problems. First is they'll be probably bad at that because they are good into making relations and generating that funnel for you. And second is you've destroyed the trust that they have been building in 4 months because money does not come at first stage, money does not come at day first. You have to make a relation, you have to build the connection first, you have to get that trust or credibility from the person so that they can trust you enough with their money. Now let's see what is sales. What is sales process? So far we've seen what is business development, making connections and everything. Now let's see what is sales so that in the coming slides or in the coming time you can understand what is the difference between these two domains and how do they coexist together. So sales. I want to focus one thing specifically because this getting this wrong every single time, like this the single thing that is the most conversation killer that I see into this current market trends. The You can look at the process on the screen that I'm sharing. There are 6 steps, so they go in order, and they go only in this order only. You first engage a customer, you understand their needs, you demo the product, then you go to negotiation, and then you go to client onboarding, and then the customer support part. most founder these days, what happens is they skip the understanding needs step. They directly jump to the product demonstration, but it is not like that. You should never jump on product demonstrations right after your first call, because here's what actually happens when you demo without understanding the needs. What happens is you show them the feature they don't care about, you miss their pain points that would make them actually buy the product, and then they leave the session or they leave the meeting thinking it is interesting, but do I need this? This is a question that they've left unanswered if you have not understood their requirements correctly, if you have not understood the pain points correctly. So, in order to get to the last step, to the closed won stage, you need to go step by step. After engagement, you need to have one call wherein you will understand their needs, understand their pain points, and then you jump to to the next call after that exploratory call, which would be your product demonstration. The needs is a 15-minute conversation before any demo call. So how you would want to identify what are the needs, what are the pain points when you go over that 15 minutes introductory or exploratory call. That is the moment you identify as a salesperson that he she is interested into the product. Is that product an actual need or not? You ask three things: what problem are you trying to solve, how long has it been a problem, and what does it cost you every month if you don't fix it? These three questions would tell a product owner or your customer how serious is the need, how serious is the problem, and can they survive if they do not get a solution for this. These three answers transform your demo from a product tour to a targeted response to their specific solution. Now that you have the pain points, you have discussed all the things, the challenges that they are facing. Now, when you give the product demonstration, you will be specifically targeting to their own pain points only, and then giving them solutions accordingly, which they would be interested in. Do not demo before you understand the pain. And I would repeat it again: do not demo until and unless you have understood the pain of the client. Now, let's look these two side by side. We have seen business development. What is business development? How does it work? What is sales? How does sales work? What is the sales process? Let's see how they coexist side by side. So, five dimensions. BD is about building relationships, creating opportunities, and sales is about converting those opportunities into the actual revenue. Business development is a long term. Sales is a revenue focused with defined cycle targets, and those targets fluctuate as per the BD, BD requirements, and BD trends. So I want to flag this word specifically, the targets. A lot of presentations or lot of people call it like sales short-term targets that are for sales team. So there is nothing like short-term targets. There's nothing like short-term goals or short-term revenue that you can get. It's a whole process when you have to engage the lead, you have to get the requirements from them, you have to make a connection, and then you have to solve their pain point. And ultimately, at the last step, you are going to get that money. So, sales is never a short term thing, neither do is business development. Now, what output it gives you? Business development gives you a qualified pipeline and partnerships as an output. Sales gives you signed contracts. Out of those qualified pipelines and out of those qualified partnerships, sales then gives you a signed contracts and the recurring revenue that you will be getting into your product. And skill set. This is one that matters for hiring as well. Business development or BD requires strategic thinking and relationship depth. Sales requires persuasion. Sales requires a process, a defined process, and relentless follow up. You need to have a good follow up with your prospects, with your clients, even when your client has been closed as one. You have to do constant follow ups, follow throughs. These are different human beings. If I talk about the personas or people who are getting into business development, into sales, these are these are genuinely two different human beings. You cannot find one person who does both exceptionally. You cannot find a person who does business development excellent and who can also convert this. So I just like to advise to founders, to early stage founders or startup product owners, stop looking into one people for two roles, because everyone is good at something and is at average at the other. Now, how do business development and sales work together? We have seen that how they coexist, how business development supports the sales team, how sales can act as a guiding light for the business development team, how the processes flow from marketing to BD to sales. But now, how they work together. Here's where most traditional frameworks or the unmanaged frameworks fall apart. They show business development and sales as two boxes with an arrow between them, and they call it a day. Like, this is a BD person, this is a sales person. They just show an arrow and they call it a day. But that's not it. You have heard something like a handoff. So handoff is a process where you give things by making it better to the other person so that they can either nurture it or either they can follow it, follow the path, and they can close it. So let me show you how, like, what an actual handoff looks like. Imagine a scenario. BD spends weeks or months building a relationship. They go to the industry events, they connect with the right people, they connect with right companies, and they have the early conversations. Then this is a critical movement that they identify that if a prospect is ready for a commercial conversation or not. After going through events, after making certain connections and understanding, they identify that the prospect is ready or not for a commercial conversation. At that point, BD doesn't just jump a name into a CRM. They all are maintaining the data into all sorts of CRM. So they doesn't just jump the data into CRM. They doesn't just add a name, another name into the CRM. They make an introduction, a proper, well-defined introduction, what we call as a warm introduction. They make a warm introduction to the sales team. Here's the person, she is the person. Here's the problem that I have identified, and this is why I think that the timing is right for now to introduce to the sales team for a commercial conversation. That context is everything. A BD does not have to directly just send a name and the profile to the sales team. They have to set the actual context, they have to set a total scenario so that when the sales team goes on the call, it is an actual exploratory call that they have. Then the sales pitch. They pick up that lead from there. And they don't just pitch, they don't only demo, they run a structured discovery call with them. They validate what BD has shared, because BD has shared certain informations like why do they think that this is a qualified lead. They validate that information. They build their own understanding of the need, and that's only they move through the process. One more thing. So this is all called handoff. Handoff needs to be written down. Why I'm saying that? Every paragraph or every line that is written by the BD helps sales to look what a ready lead looks like, what information comes through the introduction. Without that definition or without that data, BD and sales will never agree to come to a same point, and that is why handoff is important. So let me know if your company has definition of a like sales ready lead or not. Your comments are welcome. You can let me know if your company is having a sales process defined or a ready lead process defined. Like how do you identify that this lead is ready? In the next slide, we will see how, like, what are the common mistakes that a startup makes. And I'm sure amongst these mistakes that I'm showing you, at least one or two would be very much relevant with all the startup business owners, what mistakes they make. My guess is at least two of them would be very common. First is treating BD and sales as the same job. These days, what happens is most of the business owners, they write a job description that says build partnerships and close deals. Now, if you have, like, if you've listened to my previous conversation or if you have seen the previous slides, you know building partnerships comes under the BD role, business development role, and close deals comes under the sales role. So, whenever you write a job description that says build partnerships and close deals, you get someone who is decent at one but is mediocre at the other. You either get a person who can build excellent partnerships but is average at closing deals, either, or you get a person who is excellent at closing deals but he she lacks communicating or conversating, building the partnerships. So in this way nobody wins. You cannot align two roles into one job description and you can expect one person to do the job for both these roles. Mistake two is hiring a sales rep and expecting them to also do a BD, because vice versa is also possible. You hire a very high, you hire an expensive resource, and it's a way. You hire a senior enterprise sales rep, you pay well, and you want them to close deals, but also to generate the funnel, to generate the pipeline. That is impressive, and you can also expect them, but in the process of making their own prospects, building their own pipeline, or developing partnerships, they spend months doing these cold outreaches, cold activities, and outbound activities. But they are not built for that. They are built for something better. They are built for actually closing those deals. And you have hired them, and they are spending their time in cold outreach, spending their time in funnels, in partnerships. This way also does not work. You have hired an excellent resource, but you are making them do the work of a junior intern, or let's say a fresher having, or an experienced person having 1 or 2 years of experience. And that person is a enterprise sales rep. So this way you are not utilizing that person to his or her full potential. In short, you have given the wrong job to the wrong person. Then mistake three is hiring sales before your pipeline exists. This is relevant for every startup founder. You hire sales first when you does not have a marketing of your product. Nobody knows your product. Nobody is having a connection. You are not having good partnerships or anything. Senior sales talent needs warm leads. They need qualified leads to work on. So if you bring them in before a BD, let's say if you do not have a business development team, you do not have your pipelines, and you have directly hired a salesperson, then you are paying premium salaries for someone who is doing the entry level prospecting. Because ultimately, when they join, they have to make their funnel, they have to do the cold prospecting, the outreach. So, build the machine before you hire the operator. That's how it should work. Then the other mistake that we usually make is skipping lead qualification. And this mistake, I can tell you, this wastes a lot of time. When, like, the by the moment you realize, you have wasted a lot of time. that this lead was qualified or not. So even before starting of any call or any prospecting, make sure to do a lead qualification, because not every interested person is a sales opportunity. Without a qualification step, your sales team spends time on people. They spend time on people with going to the calls, and even who can't afford you, who can't decide, who are not the decision makers. Those are not the right sort of prospects. For those leads, you cannot call that this is a qualified lead. The people who have no urgency, they are not your right customer for the sales team. They should be transferred to the business development team for nurturing. We will cover the qualification framework in the next slide. I will show you how you can qualify this. Next, how you can build your revenue engine. So this is the full model, the 7 stages from start to finish, how you can build your revenue model. That I think most of the people have never heard of, that they are referring to other people of. So referral plays a very important role. So stage one is the awareness. Marketing does this job usually. The marketing department does this job. They create awareness. They let people find you. People find that you exist. People find that okay, they have something that is there in the market. Stage two is the lead generation. BD fills that funnel. After marketing does a job, after they let the people know that you exist, BD fills the funnel. They outreach, they participate in the events, they come in the ecosystem, and they're the ecosystem base. Then stage three is, which is the highlighted one, because this is the most important stage that startups are skipping. They almost skip this entire stage, which is the lead qualification stage. They have seen that the people have shown interest. They directly jump to the funnel. They send them the details. They directly call them to close the deals. They directly call them to buy this particular product. But you have to do this third step in order to identify whether that lead is qualified or not, whether that person is genuinely interested, they have a need or not, they have that budget or not, or they are the concerned authority, the concerned decision maker for that or not. Before any lead touches the sales team, they have to qualify a criteria that we call as a band: budget, authority, need, and timeline. You have to identify, do they have the budget? Do they have kept the money aside for this, for solving this specific problem? If not, they are not a sales opportunity yet. You have to nurture them. You have to wait for the right time. Second is authority. Are you talking to someone who is actually the person who can say yes, who can actually sign on those deals? That's a different sales motion. You need to know who is in the room. You need to know if the correct person is in the room. Then third is the need. Do they have a real problem? And is the problem requires needs? Not just curiosity, the actual need. Not just, oh, it sounds interesting. But yes, we are actually trying to fix it. This kind of need. Then comes timeline. Are they looking to move to this particular solution in the next 30 to 90 days or not? Yes or no? Because a prospect who is exploring options for next year, that's not a sales opportunity right now. That would come into a sales funnel into next year. Right now, for this year, they will be going into the BD funnel. If a prospect who is exploring opportunity for immediate 30 or 90 days, or let's suppose say the next quarter, then it moves to a sales funnel. If a lead does not pass this band criteria, they do not go into the sales. They stay here into this BD part. But if a lead doesn't, qualify the band criteria, it does not go to sales. That's a full stop. It goes back to BD for nurturing. It gets marked at, as a future pipeline. This is not harsh, but it is necessary. And you are respecting your sales team's timeline. When you do this step, this is not a harsh thing that you have to push that lead back into the video, but it is necessary for that. Then stage 4, sales engagement and discovery. Once a lead has qualified the band criteria, it goes for sales engagement, discovery calls, the demo calls, and then further the negotiation, and then the stage 5 is like close, and then retention and upsell. So here at the last stage, which is referral, upsell, retention. This is the stage which founders consistently like they underutilize this. uh, as a person who's been working in sales, I can definitely say that the amount of qualified or positive leads, or the amount of possible best businesses that you can get through, is via your referrals, via your upsells, and via the clients referring to you who are actually your customer, because you have already built that first level of trust. You have built that credibility. Now you just need to solve their pain point, and half of your work is done, in short, if I can say. Now, let's see some practical strategies that would actually work for BD and for sales, that most of the like founders can start from this week. You, if you are having a BD team, so for founders who are having a BD team, start with 3 partnerships, not 30, not 60. Start with 3 partnerships only, three three deep deals, but those partnerships are very timely managed, very well organized, and very well connected. Find 3 organizations that already serve your ideal customer gap, the organization those serve your ideal customer, and then go genuinely go deep dive with them. One partnership that is consistent, and one partnership that consistently gives you leads, that consistently sends you the qualified referrals, is worth more than those 30 or 50 numbers on your CRM, that you are having 30 partnerships. Those 1 or 2 or 3 meaningful partnerships will give you as much as business that those 50 in numbers but vague partnerships could not give you. So focus on that, focus on the quality. Number 2, map your ideal partner profile by answering 2 questions to yourself: who already has my customer, and what's in it for them to refer me, so that those people are the ones who would be easily convinced if you are offering a partnership, because they already have your ideal customer, and they know what is in it, so that you can give to them. And if you cannot answer these 2 questions for that particular partnership, it won't work. So don't waste much time on that. Rather search some other prospect and answer these 2 questions yourself, and then go ahead again. Now for sales, lead with the outcome, not with the feature. Like every time when a salesperson is on a call, either on a qualification call or on a product discovery call, every time when you are about to say that our product does this, our product does X, stop. You say, what does our particular product or feature, what does this X allow the customer to stop worrying about? The problem is the same, but you are telling it from their perspective. You do not say our product does X. You say that this allows you to stop worrying for this particular, for your pain point. What does it cost them every month that they do not have it? If they do not have your particular feature or particular product, what is it gonna cost you? You make them realize this. That's your pitch. That is how you will be doing a successful demo call or qualification call with that particular client. Number two is qualify before the demo call as well. A 15-minute band call with your internal, with your BD team, budget authority need and timeline. A 15-minute call before every demo. Yes, it adds an additional step, but those 15 minutes will save your coming days of work that you were going to do with a lead, but at the end, that was not even qualified. So, in order to save your those 5 to 10 days of work, spend those 15 minutes before every day and qualify. And then number three, track your sales cycle length. Like how many days from the first conversation till the date the client has closed. How many days, how many months it took. Founders who know this number, like they make much smarter decisions about hiring, about pipeline targets, and about when they need to start a conversation to hit the next quarter's number. Because generating a pipeline is a continuous task that you have. And according to the pipeline, according to your sales cycle, you will be having a number that this is what pipeline we need to maintain in order to achieve the upcoming quarter's results. So this founders who are already doing this by themselves, they are at a very good stage as of now. The next is how you identify. This slide is like one of the most presentations on this topic leave out, but you need to measure both the functions, both the metrics, how they are, the BD and the sales metric. How you can identify how your BD team is working, how your sales team is working. So you need to have some sort of metric to identify the work done by your BD team. Usually, what we do is we only take care about the performance if they have generated the revenue. What about the pre-revenue? What about the process in between process of generating that revenue? How do you identify that? How do you quantify that? So we need to define metrics for BD also, for sales also. For BDs, how many partnerships are actually activated, not just signed, as I said earlier, not just the numbers in the CRM, but who are actually activated, who are having the connections, who are giving you prospects, who are giving you qualified leads. A signed partnership that gives you zero referrals, it's is just a vanity. You cannot consider it as a performance. Then your referral pipeline value for BD, total dollar value that comes, like that leads through BD. It comes through BD or partners. This tells whether your BD is spending, like they are spending the commercially meaningful pipeline or not. They are spending their time on that commercially meaningful pipeline. Because referral tells a lot about how you are servicing, how your products are servicing, how your prospects find this product useful so that they can refer to the other persons who are stuck into that same problem. Then pipeline coverage ratio. For BDs, pipelines are divided by the sales target. Obviously, the target that you give to your sales team, that is converted and that is drawn back towards the BD. You want at least 3 times the coverage. Let's say if a sales needs 500,000 this quarter, so the business development needs to point 105 million pipeline to just the three times, because it it considers that 3x of what BD is generating the pipeline. Out of those, only one third is gonna qualify, and out of those one third, only few are gonna convert. So pipeline coverage ratio is important. Timeline handoff is important. The first handoff is important. How BD hands over the qualified conversation, the first conversation to a qualified lead, how it is going to go to sales. If it is too long, that means it is over nurtured. If it is too short, that means the leads are not ready. They are just at the interesting stage. So they need to go back to the business development. They need to build connections and they need to identify the right time. That should be the quality of the BD person that you are hiring. That they need to identify the right time that the lead is not over nurtured, neither the lead is very vague. You do not have full information, too short. For sales, conversion rate, what percentages of qualified leads become closed deals. If this is low, then this is either in the sales process or the leads that are arriving, they are unqualified. So conversion rate differs from quarter to quarter. If your conversion rate is low every quarter, then you need to identify this can be your sales process or this can be your lead quality. Your leads are not coming qualified. The band theory that you were gonna use, you have not used it correctly. And band also solves the second one, the average deal size. It tracks whether you are moving up the market or down the market. So this is important for revenue planning. Now, sales cycle length, as we say, the deal days from the day from which the conversation has started from the lead to the day the lead has been closed. It is marked as a sales cycle length. So average days to discovery to close. This is your most important planning number. And how long is your sales cycle? The longer your sales cycle is, the more you need to do the prospecting. The more you need to have prospects in your funnel because you know your sales cycle is long. You ask yourself, how much pipeline do I need today to hit my target number in the next 90 days? That's how, when you do the reverse engineering, you will be getting the answer. For sales, win and loss ratio also identifies an important part when we talk about the matrices because you need to know why you lost. Was it the price reason? Was it the timing issue? Was the timing was not wrong? Or was it the competitor? Was your competitor gone too ahead to you? Like was the lead that you were talking to, they have suddenly gone to your competitor? Or was it a product gap? Was it a feature gap that okay, the features was not there into the product, so the deal got lost? You need to identify at least one area. It can be either the price, it can be the timing, it can be the competitor issue, or it can be the product gap. But without understanding why deals lost, this is also another reason why you cannot improve your process for the upcoming quarters or upcoming months. You would be like you would be flying blind if you do not know why your leads have got lost. So for all of this, you don't immediately need a CRM. With a spreadsheet also you can work with these 8 numbers. So we would be taking the questions at the end of this sessions, if time permits. I would like to show the key takeaways. What 5 things that I want you today to remember, or you are a startup business to take these 5 action items, and that the immediate action items that you can start. First is media and sales are sequential, not parallel. They come one after the other. Marketing creates awareness. Business development creates opportunities. Sales creates revenue. Each one hands off the opportunities to the next. Second is never ever demo before you understand the needs. I would emphasize on this point again and again. Never demo before you understand the needs of a client. Discover the pain point first, then show how you are going to solve it. Do not just demonstrate your product, only show how you are going to solve their pain point. That is what will make a productive call with your client. Third is qualify with bank, qualify with budget, authority, need, and timeline. Before any lead touches sales team, before any lead touches sales, you qualify all these four aspects. Qualify this criteria. If they cannot pass these four checks, they are not a sales opportunity. You move them to business. Fourth is don't hire sales and expect the BD outcome, and vice versa. Don't hire a BD and expect a sales outcomes. These are two roles. These are two different skill sets that demands, two different mindsets that are demanded, and two different incentive structures that are demanded, both for business and for sales. Then fifth is measure both functions. You need to measure how your business team is performing, how your BDs are generating leads, and you need to measure how your sales is qualifying them. In short, you need to measure both. Founders who track these build revenue agencies. Like they build revenue engines, not just revenue movements. It is sort of a picture that comes like it's sort of a pipeline that goes continually. It's a process. It's not a one-time effort. It is a regular, rigorous daily process. And just like this line says, build the engine, measure what matters, and scale what works, what your client needs, what they have. So I think in this uh, session about understanding business development and sales, this is about this session. And thank you so much for hearing me. Thank you so much for your time. And I will be taking a few questions that are dropped into the comment section. Do we have time? Like, does time permits to take a few questions?
Yes, Shruti, we'll take 2 to 3 questions at that time. So we'll take first question that we were asked, like, could you please provide some insight on pre-sale from a business development and sales perspectives? If that product is not yet launched, how can we pre-sell it and develop the business? What should be the strategy and process for this?
Okay. So, Savani Banerjee. Good
Yes.
questions. Pre-sales and business development. Pre-sales is a part of business development. What pre-sales does is you can say an extended arm of business development. The pre-sales process. This is a term that is trending these days a lot. Pre-sales executive or pre-sales person. What a pre-sales person does is they work parallelly with the business development. They nurture the lead. They qualify the lead. They generate new opportunities. As per the ICPs that are defined, a pre-sales person identifies more such leads and adds to the funnel. That's what a pre-sales person works. And if your product is not launched yet, I would suggest please market it first. Marketing creates awareness, as I started the session. Market it first, then you make your audience who are ready to adopt it into the trial space. If you are providing some free trials, great. You provide some trials to your known persons, to the people whom you have influence on, whom you can request to try your product if it is not launched yet. It's in the early stage. You can market that, and then you market the features. You since your product is not yet launched, that means it is somehow in the building stage. So you understand according, whenever you market, you understand according to the needs. When you create awareness about your pain point that you are solving, you get some new insights as well, according to the current market, to the current scenario, what product is going on, and accordingly you can make changes into your features, or you can upgrade, or you can enhance your existing product that you are doing. That also helps. Marketing helps with this. So yep, this is just an outer layer of strategy. We can connect more for this, but this is just a high level that we can do as of now.
Definitely. So our next question is, how is AI changing business development and sales?
Yeah, Aditya. So AI is definitely changing business development and sales, and I could say AI is helping business development and sales in many ways. Earlier, when AI was not there, we used to spend time manually in searching those needs. We used to spend time manually in understanding the requirements or understanding the client's needs or making the funnel. Now, since the introduction of AI, we have implemented new processes. We have tools available with us, the tools which can automate our manual work, which can automate our research work. The time that we were spending for manual research, now that time we spend talking to the clients, to the prospects, because human connection is there. We have to make a human connection. The works which could be done manually, the research works, or making the funnel work, or updating the CRM work, those all works are now automated. The business development and the sales needs to focus on what the prospect wants. The sales team just needs to focus on what the client is actually demanding, how well they can negotiate or how well they can upsell. So yes, AI has changed business development and sales, but in a very positive way. We have automated most of our manual tasks, almost all of our manual tasks. We are just focusing on making human connections to increase the sales.
Okay. So thank you so much, Shruti, for sharing your valuable insight and expertise with us today. Um, I think we have more questions in the chat box, but due to time duration, we want to wind up this session. So I would like to wind up this session here. We truly appreciated your time, knowledge, and expertise that you have shared with us. And I would like to also extend my sincere thanks to all the participants for joining us today and being such an enthusiastic audience. We hope this webinar has helped you gain a clear understanding of how business development and sales work together to drive sustainable business growth. Right. On behalf of GNQ, thank you for being a part of this session. We look forward to connecting with you again in our upcoming webinar and startup focus initiative. Until then, stay connected, keep learning, and keep growing. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Megha. Thank you so much for inviting me.